Do you want to know how to dominate your Dynasty League by quarterback hoarding? Well, you've come to the right place. But first, we got an intro to get to. Brian, hit it. Welcome back to the channel. So glad you could join us today. Got something that's near and dear to my heart. Quarterback hoarding. People ask me all the time, Mike, you're a psychopath. You QB hoard everywhere. I do, and I love it. And I won't stop. I can't stop. I'll never stop. I'll never quit you, quarterback hoarding.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
You're my lifeblood. But why do I do it? There's so many leagues that I have that have been built into absolute monsters for multiple years based on quarterback hoarding. In Superflex leagues, 12-team or better, quarterbacks run the world. Unless you're in one of these crazy leagues where it starts 16 and a best ball. Adam, I'm talking to you. You psychopath. Stop making these type of leagues. But people want to know all the time, how do I quarterback hoard? How do I quarterback hoard effectively? Well, I got 4 basic rules. 4 basic rules of quarterback hoarding. There's more in-depth strategy, but this is a shorter video. I want to get it out to you. So here are the 4 basic rules. Number 1, the easiest one, the one that everybody needs to unclench their assholes for. Brace yourself for the possibility that you're going to be bad. You have to. If you're not prepared to suck in year 1, maybe suck in year 2, and maybe suck in year 3, don't quarterback hoard. It can go wrong. It has gone wrong for me. I would be lying to you if I said every single time I do this, it works magically. It doesn't. Sometimes it's fucked. Sometimes you're going to be the biggest joke in your league. It happens. Not very often if you do it right, but you need to be prepared that that is a possibility. Fantasy football is all about chances, likely outcomes, what's going to happen. We try to predict the future all the time. If you predict that this is going to work marvelously and there's no risk or downside to it, you're doomed. You're absolutely fucked. So I'll say this, be prepared to be bad. Not every quarterback hoard goes to plan. Some leagues will just freeze you out. Some people won't trade with you. Have the willpower to stay strong. And a portfolio is probably necessary. I'm not going to say it's absolutely necessary, but I play in a portfolio of 50 leagues. If you play in 10 or more, yeah, you should have some quarterback hoards. If you play in 6 or 7, you might have 1 quarterback hoard. If you're only playing in 2 or 3 leagues, I wouldn't recommend quarterback hoarding because you have 3 leagues that you're trying to win at, 3 leagues that you're really focused on. Do you want to run the risk of one of those being an absolute turd burger? I'd say no. But for me, with 50, if one of them's in the shitter, I don't give a fuck.
Shitter was full!
I got 49 others. If 5 of them, 10 of them are in the shitter, doesn't matter to me. I got 40 other leagues. So don't quarterback hoard if you're in a real small portfolio. And by small portfolio, I mean 2, 3 leagues. If you're in more than that, you want to do some quarterback hoarding, go for it. And as that portfolio rises, add a few more to your resume. Add a few more to your repertoire and see what comes of it. The second rule, number 2, patience. Quarterback hoarding is like a courtship. It's a new love. You don't just rush in. You're not super aggressive when you first start dating somebody for the first time. At least I hope not. Jesus. Probably a single loner who no one likes.
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt!
Be patient. Quarterback hoarding is a slow play. Be gentle. Be caressing. Don't rush to trade your quarterbacks right away. So many people I see do a quarterback hoard, boom. I'm sending out offers all over the place. I do it sometimes. Don't be so impatient where you're trying to take shitty deals just to get them off your roster. You have to have patience. You have to have a long-term vision of what this quarterback hoard is going to be. It's almost better to let your trade partners come to you, not to be as aggressive. Let them decide when they're ready to try to come get a quarterback for you at an increased price. Set the trap.
It's a trap!
Let them feel nice and comfortable. Let them feel all nice and friendly, and then spring those prices on them. Here's what this quarterback costs. Oh my God. You want me to pay this? Fuck out of here. Then be patient again. Let him come back around. Matty Kiwoom now on the channel, part of South Harmon. Matty Kiwoom has seen me do this. Matty has come to me for a quarterback years ago, and the price that he wanted to pay then, I still wouldn't take now. And Matty would even admit to himself that his team would be much better. Maybe he'd have another championship on his resume if he had made that deal way back when. So be patient. Emotions are always going to be the highest right after the draft. Right after you had just gone and shit on the entire league with this Bush League strat that you came up with. It's called quarterback hoarding. People are going to be pissed. Probably not the best time to send out deals. Probably not the best time to be very aggressive. Let the atmosphere of the league settle just a little bit. And eventually, everybody gets hungry. Everybody's got to eat. Everybody's one quarterback away. If I could just shore this spot up, I'd have a team that's unbeatable. That's the psychology that goes into it. And that's the psychology behind being patient. Because eventually, they're going to come to you. And that's exactly what you want them to do. I have quarterback hoards where I haven't traded a quarterback in a year and a half. Almost 2 years in some of these leagues. And guess what? The roster looks fine. I don't have a weakness at quarterback. I'm actually very strong. My teams have been dog shit for the last 2 years. I've had top draft picks. I've been able to trade away any aging vet that I had on my team. Anybody who pops during the season. I don't need them. I'm a complete dumpster rebuild. It is freedom when you do a quarterback hoard if people don't trade with you. Because you know your direction. There's no qualms about what you're doing. I'm rebuilding. I'm doing it for the long term. Rule number 3. And shout out to my mans George W. Bush for this word, strategery. Strategery. It's not a real word, by the way. It's bullshit. But it sounds great. You got to have some strategery. Know who needs a quarterback and plan accordingly. Identify the people in your league who are the weakest at quarterback. Identify the people in your league who may have great rosters besides their quarterback. They're a quarterback away. There may be 2 quarterbacks away. And figure out when your sell windows are. For me, one of the biggest sell windows I always have every single year when I quarterback hoard is going to be in August. It's upcoming. It's a few weeks away. Why? All the redraft folks come back to Dynasty. All those people in your leagues that have been dead and gone for the last 6 months, you haven't heard a peep out of, all of a sudden come back because what? Training camps are open, preseason starting, football season's almost here. They're in the mood. They're in the mood. Football mode is fully engaged. So my sell window, first off, comes in August. Another sell window that you have, in season. The difference between in season and right before is one simple thing. Most people in your league come August feel like they can compete. Even teams that have no business competing, they got that itch. They don't want to be shitty this year. They want to go into it and they want to compete. Everybody thinks they're making the playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Well, not everybody. You always have 2 guys in your league who are complete shit shows, like yourself, if you're quarterback hoarding. But the rest of the managers, they really feel like they're going to be able to compete. In season, it gets a little bit more shallow as far as the amount of people who are competing. You start to trim some of the fat off. Listen to me, trimming fat. I need to trim some. You start to trim some of the fat off, and all of a sudden, it's a little bit more apparent who's really competing. Now, it's good and it's bad. The bad side is, I just said, we trimmed off some of the fat. The good side is, now the people who are really locked in competing, they're even more motivated. Man, I got to beat Steve over here, or I got to beat Angela. I'm competing with their team. And now maybe you have a little bidding war between 2 teams. That's another great window. Also think of this. We don't like injuries in fantasy football. No one does. I want to see every player succeed. It'd be the greatest thing ever. But injuries are a gift, are an absolute gift to you as a QB hoarder. We don't want to see quarterbacks go down. Me especially. I got a portfolio of 50 leagues. If some starting quarterback goes down in the NFL, you best believe I probably roster him somewhere. It's going to hurt one of my teams. But just in the individual league, injuries are a gift. Somebody loses a starting quarterback, there's your time to pounce. There's your time to go, hey, buddy, come here. The store's open. If you have a quarterback who's all the rage, somebody who just went and had a monster game, Jordan Love, for example, last year. Brock Purdy, for example. Anthony Richardson at the beginning of the season. CJ Stroud towards the later part. If you have a quarterback who's all the rage at the time, there's your other strategic move. There's your strategery. Strategery. That's the quarterback that you should be shopping. You don't want to be shopping the shitter who just threw 4 picks. You want to be shopping the guy who just came off a 5-touchdown game. Know what you're doing with your quarterback hoard and plan accordingly. And the last one, the most simple rule out there. Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. It's the easiest rule out there to remember. The draft is going to be the key. Whether that's a rookie draft or whether that is quarterback hoarding in a traditional startup league, the draft is key. Now, if it's a rookie draft, round 1 NFL quarterbacks, they're almost a cheat code. If the NFL deems a quarterback to be drafted in round 1, you could almost take it to the bank that that quarterback is getting 3 years of having some sort of dynasty value. Even the shittiest ones usually get 3 years. Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett got 2, Justin Fields, even quarterbacks who people end up hating. If they were drafted in round 1, all of a sudden, the NFL goes, we're going to be at least 3 years patient. Not all the time, but most of the time. In startup drafts, this is where I see people fuck it up. Your startup draft quarterback hoarding strategy is going to be dependent on your league. Now, I can't just tell you league size, I can't just tell you league format, but I'll give you some examples. In best ball superflex leagues, go nuts. You want to draft Geno Smith and Aaron Rodgers? Sure, add them to your quarterback hoard. You want to walk away with 9, 10 quarterbacks? Go for it. Because they're all going to have some value in a best ball league. In a 14-team league, go absolutely fucking bananas. People still underestimate the value of quarterbacks in 14-team superflex leagues. And for you super psychotic degens out there who play in 16, 18, 20-team superflex leagues, Jesus fucking Christ. Might be the greatest asset you could ever have on your team as long as they're a starting quarterback in the NFL. In your standard 12-team lineup league, start 10, start 11, start 9. Know your limits. Know what quarterbacks that you're not going to draft as part of your quarterback hoard. And there is a list. Geno Smith, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, the Aiden O'Connell types. Why avoid them? Because you don't want to be left holding that grenade. I told you, rule number 2 was patience. You can't have too much patience if you're drafting a shitty quarterback who may only have 1 year left in the NFL of starting. You might say, hey Mike, well, I think Aaron Rodgers might have 2 years. I get it. He might. Or he might get injured again and decide that he wants to retire. He might run for vice president. Who the hell knows? But it's not a great profile to bet on. You want to bet on the Bryce Youngs. You want to bet on the Anthony Richardsons, obviously. You want to bet on all these rookie quarterbacks that just came in the NFL. You want to bet on quarterbacks that have 2 or 3 or 4 years of starting in their relative range of outcomes. We know the greats are always going to be great, at least for the next 4 or 5 years. That's why we draft them so high. But it's that next set. Don't reach. Don't go out and start taking quarterbacks that are a little bit on the fence. And lastly, in the don't fuck it up strat, the don't fuck it up part of this. 10-team leagues, superflex, I don't give a shit. Don't fucking quarterback hoard. They just don't matter as much. The elite guys, the running quarterbacks, they matter. Outside of that, who gives a fuck? Really what you should be doing if you're in a 10-team superflex league and you're even thinking about quarterback hoarding, leave the league, find some more friends, and join a 12-team league. Simple as that. Hope you enjoyed everything that we had today. Really appreciate everybody tapping in. If you could do me a giant favor, go down, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Don't miss anything that we got going on over here at South Harmon. And by the way, check out all them links down in the description. Lots of cool shit, lots of good sponsorships in there, ultimate autographs, get one of these helmets behind me. And if you want to take Adam and I down in a league, South Harmon, we got one. We got one, a redraft league of all things. The link will be down in the description. That's all I got. Good luck with your quarterback hoards. I'll catch you around. Peace.